Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of the 700 Club. The order has gone out from the White House. Make the shutdown as painful as possible. We're going to tell you some shocking examples of how government employees have followed out that mandate. And the government shutdown in Washington has turned in the Battle of Yorktown as Americans protest the actions of the National Park Service.
Yorktown is where America fought its final battle for independence, and a businessman there isn't going along with the government's demand that he close down. Charlene Israel brings us the story.
Glenn Helseth loves serving up good food at his Carrot Tree restaurant in historic Yorktown, something he's been doing for the past 11 years. But the eatery was recently forced to shut its doors due to the government shutdown. The National Park Service owns the building he uses, so Helseth was ordered to move out in 48 hours when the government shutdown began last week.
I was called about 9 o'clock Tuesday morning, October 1st. I was told I had 3 hours to vacate my restaurant. I was shocked and called back to say that's inadequate. I can't possibly do that.
He was granted a 3-day stay, but eventually closed. A week later, in defiance of government orders, he reopened for business, a move he knows was risky, but he considers well worth it.
I'm willing to go to jail for this. If the Park Service wants to put me in jail because I want to honor the terms of my contract, well, they have that right, I suppose.
He says he can't understand why he should have to close his business, something he says would hurt his bottom line.
This is October. This is our busiest month of the year. I need October to make my year.
He also points out that during the shutdown, he was still obligated to pay other expenses for the facility.
I'm paying for the insurance on this building. While it's closed, I'm paying for the utilities on this building. I am paying for the security system that is protecting this building, and I cannot use this building.
The welfare of his employees was also a big concern.
My staff is not getting any back pay. My people aren't getting paid for the days we've missed. I need to look out for the welfare of my staff.
As you can see from the line to get inside the Carrot Tree, the actions taken by this restaurant owner have ignited a firestorm of support, with many calling it the new battle for Yorktown. Lindsay, you're here in support of the restaurant owner remaining open, well, reopening despite the government shutdown. Why was it so important for you?
We're the little man against the big government. He owns a business, he supports workers, and he did what was right, and it could cost him a personal sacrifice.
He gets fined. I'll be the first one on the front line raising the money to pay his fine for him. I think it's remarkable what he's doing. It takes guts.
They thought what was being done was illegal. He's got a lease with the government to run a business that doesn't require the Park Service to be present. They don't work here. All he has to do is open his door and do business.
In addition to the controversy with Helseth, the National Park Service has been involved in several other incidents that have outraged Americans, as the Obama administration has closed public areas that stayed open in past shutdowns. Rangers locked a tour group, including senior citizens and foreign visitors, in a hotel as they visited Yellowstone National Park when the shutdown began. The tour guide told the local newspaper, the Livingston Enterprise, that the Park Service used Gestapo tactics. The service told Bruce O'Connell to close his inn and restaurant in Pisgah Inn. It sits on federal land on the Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina. He did, but then reopened it. But the service closed him down with armed rangers. One angry Park Service ranger in Washington told the Washington Times, "We've been told to make life as difficult for people as we can. It's disgusting." The Weekly Standard says the conduct of the National Park Service over the last week might be the biggest scandal of the Obama administration. Congressional Republicans say they're getting numerous reports and will investigate. We reached out to the National Park Service for an interview, but our calls were not returned. Meanwhile, Helseth has this message for those in Washington.
Please settle your issues so that we continue going about our business. It's all I want to do. I want to do what we were meant to do. If I can do so now while you all continue squabbling, that's fine by me. Please leave me alone to sell my carrot cake.
Charlene Israel, CBN News, Yorktown, Virginia.
Can you imagine a petulant man occupying the highest office of our land and ordering his people to make this shutdown as painful as possible for the American people? Terry, can you imagine Yellowstone Park? I was involved, I worked on the edge of Yellowstone, and a foreign tour group is there, and they lock them up and put them under guard in a hotel. I mean, this is outrageous.
Carrying weapons, that is just, the backlash from this has got to happen. You know, you want to say to this man in the Williamsburg, Yorktown area is on target. Just say no. I mean, this is ridiculous.
The whole thing is outrageous, but I mean, apparently the president doesn't care. And why? It was asked, why is he doing it? Does he think he's an emperor? Is he imperial? Doesn't he read the papers? Doesn't he understand what people are saying? I mean, what is it that's motivating the head of our nation?